Yo, 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 in a bottle of rum. What's up, peoples? I don't know where the hell that came from. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Just popped up in my head one day and I felt like sharing that little medley with y'all. What's up, everybody? It's your boy MM2K back again with another one as I promised. If y'all could do me a huge favor, retweet this out. You know what I'm saying? Once you get in the room and get everything together. I'm still trying to get things together. I kind of went early a few moments before I anticipated because I'm trying to tweet this out myself. Um, in addition to that, you see on my screen while I'm trying to get all this information out and get the room filled up because we got a doozy to talk about today, right? Um, you you see on my screen on the right hand side that I'm my three platforms that I'm on. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Mixer, I'm on YouTube. Now, if you haven't been around to hear what I've had to say on why I'm on those three different platforms and all that fun stuff, let me try to help you make it all make sense. So while we were doing our E3 2009 presentations and stuff like that, we ran into a problem with YouTube. YouTube essentially shut us down from being able to do live streams. Because they shut us down from being able to do live streams, that really hampered our day-to-day processes and stuff as far as trying to get y'all the news and all that other fun stuff. So what I've had to do in lieu of that is I've had to essentially say, look, from a consistency point of view, these mugs ain't consistent over here. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be like, yo, I'm going live, and then when I try to go live, nothing's there. That's unacceptable. So to make sure that we don't run into such a snafu again, I have I've set it up to where I'm going to have different material coming to different platforms. Okay. So what I need everybody to do is, if you can, do your boy a big favor. Follow me on those platforms. Okay. Follow me on Mixer, here on YouTube, and definitely Twitch as well. Follow me on Twitch because my biggest project to date I'm doing on Twitch. So you're going to want to follow me everywhere, okay? And I appreciate as we're filling up the room, as people are trying to come in and y'all gonna get that gospel today, man. Y'all gonna get that gospel today. I know normally for the prognosis, I have the background music and all that other good stuff. I'll have that on the audio version. I just wanted to hurry up and go live because we got some things coming. Later on today, we got a real in-depth show about some good stuff. You definitely don't want to miss that. I'm gonna also be doing some game streaming, right? So you don't want to miss that, and so forth and so forth. So here's the big whoop to do. The big whoop to do is, we had E3. A lot of people are coming back from E3, or they've had time to let things settle as far as what their thoughts were on E3 and the impact that it's going to have, particularly on Xbox. We've seen something from Phil Spencer himself that focused primarily on numbers, right? And I talked a little bit about this yesterday on my exclusive Twitch program that I did. So you're definitely you're going to want to sign up on Twitch because there's going to be content exclusive to each platform. What we talked about that Phil Spencer put out as far as numbers is engagement, as far as he feels is engagement. And he put out there that, so many people watched and made it the largest view, this, and that, and the other. You've even had some of the Xbox faithful. I'm not going to name any names, but some of the Xbox faithful, they responded and they said, Phil, I'm not going to settle for numbers. At the end of the day, the presentation was dog shit. And because it was dog shit, you don't get stripes for that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do better. We'll see what you're going to do at E3 2020. I mean, they still had to leave off with that token, but it is what it is. Black Ice 12 says, yes, Phil is the right guy for the job because now I get all first-party game day and date of release for free, and soon we'll be able to play those games anywhere I want. That's a good point. He brought up a very good point. We're going to get into that, because there's a lot of people that are questioning if he's a good guy. But what I need y'all to do is, y'all can do me a huge favor. If you got something that you want to say, okay, something that you think is prevalent, that you think should go on the show, and should go outside of that chat, like a comment like that. You know what I'm saying? To catch my attention. I just happen to be looking at the chat because my chat be popping. The chat be going. Big up to 706 Gamer, D Almighty, Ollie Tussin. You know what I'm saying? He said, how's it free? You pay. Hey, look, if you got message that you want to spread to the masses, here's what I want y'all to do. It's a free messaging app. You can put it there. I just dropped it in the chat. You can also see it in the hashtags there on the screen where, you know what I'm saying, you basically just click that link and a couple of clicks, you just send me a message. It'll appear on screen. I'll read it, and then we'll be able to share your thoughts with everybody, right? And I'll answer it live. It doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't cost you a thing but a couple of clicks. We use it all the time on Next Gen 720's channel, and now we're implementing it here. Because like I said, it's all about getting you guys engaged and making this more about you. And I know that at the beginning, I used to be able to read everybody's comments, but I'd be flipping between this and that, and I'd be going into my little tangents a little bit harder. But I want everybody to hear what you guys have to say, okay? Definitely. This is a very, very, very intelligent chat. Like I always say, I love you guys, whether we agree or not, because of the diversity of thought. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to make sure that all the listening public and everybody that's catching this, whether it's live or on demand, gets to opine in this wonderful, wonderful chat that we have here. So let me see this. Let me go back. I gotta dang, I did not, because I put that in there, I wasn't able to chat it out. But what's going on, everybody? I mean, so like I said, we've run into a situation where people now are evaluating, how well was this E3, right? How well was the E3? And not only how well was the E3, but again, is Phil Spencer the guy per this vision that was put out there? Is Phil Spencer the guy to lead the charge? A lot of people are questioning that, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? So what I want to do today is I want to talk about that a little bit. I want everybody to really just think about the tangibles, think about a lot of the real stuff, not this fake stuff. Like, there's a lot of fake stuff being talked about here and things that aren't tangible to the listening public, to you, the gamer. And we're going to pull the scabs off. I did it a little bit yesterday, and we're going to continue this. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about all the other gaming news as well. But I came across, your boy MM2K is always on his job and always doing research. Y'all think I just be going live and I just be spouting stuff, and that is not true. That is the farthest thing from the truth. I do my research all the time. And as I'm reading and going through, I got like 5 different feeds, and each feed has 20 different sets of articles. I mean, it's just crazy. So I go through a lot of gaming stuff, right? Even while I was playing some Division last night, I was up while Z and them was doing their, while Z was doing his live stream. I was in the chat too a little bit, but I was like silent for the most part because I have a audio. I mean, I have a word reading app that when my eyes are focused on the game, I can actually listen to, I can listen, I can have the audio, I can have written articles turned into audio. You know what I mean? And it's nothing fancy. Back in the day, it was something fancy, but now that's not. I mean, you see that all the time. And I was coming across an article where they were talking about Phil's tenure at Xbox, like even before he became head. And I missed a lot of the meat and potatoes because I was deep into my game on the division, man. I chopped some video for y'all. I'm gonna upload it. There's just a lot that I gotta chop up and upload because these are like 2-3 hour sessions, right? And I want to do it in increments of like 25-30 minutes. With that being said, I didn't listen to it last night, but on my way to get my coffee this morning, I listened to it again this morning. And I had to ask myself because I sent out a tweet to advertise this show. And the tweet that I sent out was more or less Phil is, talented. He's talented technically, and he's talented with the games that he's helped discover and help come to fruition this generation. So because of that, we got to give kudos to Phil. But is his vision for gaming the vision that his core has? That was my little advertisement, right? But then I reread or re-listened to the articles and stuff that I had in one of my feeds, and I looked at the games that Phil helped to usher since his tenure at Xbox, and bruh, if this list is true, this list is dog shit. It's dog shit. Now, you're probably listening to this. You're like, MM2K, if it's true, you just said if it's true. Now, I was a big-time Xbox gamer, and it looks true. I might be missing 1 or 2 games, and there might be 1 or 2 pivotal games that I'm missing. So, I'm reserving the right to say that I'm not saying this in etched in stone. But Phil he was like an interim or general manager at the game studios in 2008. He became the official manager in 2009. To be fair, right? Because we always want to blame Terry Myerson and say, you got to be fair, MM2K, because there were certain things out of control. So, okay, let's do that. Let's grade on the curve, okay? Let's say that Phil Spencer didn't have access to do what he wanted to do, or even the deals that he did have that he wanted to make, they're not going to come to fruition the day that he walks through the door and becomes the manager of Microsoft Studios, right? You got to get these games like 3 years. So I even took out the 2009 to 2012 games and just looked at 2012 up to today. And man, if this was the lineup of games, when I say that, you got it again. To be fair, if I'm being fair to Phil and not judging him on the dog shit that came out around 2009, because again in 2009 he didn't broker those deals. He may have been part of it, but he was at a lower level stat. I'm talking about the deals that he broke. You know what I mean? The deals that he would have brokered that would have come to fruition would have started around 2012. From 2012 to now, those games were dog shit. Dog shit. No, I shouldn't say that, because that's an insult to dog shit. I mean, if you look, man, hey, Rise was a cool game. Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, fairly decent. I think Quantum Break gets a lot of bad, it was 8. But if you take those games from 2012 and 2019 now, right? And you bump, and that's a 7-year period, right? And you bump them up from, when did the Xbox 360 come out? If you go from just 3 years of the first 3 or 4 years of the Xbox, or 7 year span, starting from the original Xbox days. There's no comparison. There is no comparison. Period. I'm sorry. And I want to thank everybody for joining. I'm going to shout out to the chat one more time. We got Black Ice, D Almighty, 706 Gamer, Ali Tussin. We got my homie Miko Dawes. What's up? And yeah, and that's it in the chat right now. And everybody else that's joining, that's listening, that haven't participated in the chat. Once again, I ask you to do me a huge favor, okay? You can do me a huge favor. Can you support the channel? You know, and DarkLink999, what's up? What's up? Do me a huge favor. You can support the channel. Free messaging app. Doesn't cost you a thing. The, works like a super chat. Message comes up on the screen. I read it. The whole entire community gets to partaking upon your thoughts on this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Because your boy M2K be hopping all over the place, jumping through this, jumping through that, showing y'all articles online, and sometimes I miss stuff. You know what I mean? So, and big up to Bossy One. Thank you for joining. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the problem. Here's the problem on why, again, we're going to address the 500-pound gorilla in the room that I think now everybody's really thinking about, but they're afraid to say. Is Phil Spencer the right man to lead Xbox? Okay. The problem is that there's been so much unease at Windows Gaming, headed by Phil, and their direction since that E3 show. No doubt about it. People are perturbed. They're like, what the fuck? What was that? What was, I mean, there were all of these rumors. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. Big ups to Paul G. Paul G, what's good, man? There were a lot of rumors. And we've been you know what? Nothing against Xbox gamers. I'm an Xbox guy myself. So, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice. You know what I mean? So, what reason why I brought up that old adage is we kind of knew that Phil likes to bloviate and over exaggerate the intensity of the what do you call it? The shows that he puts on at E3. We know that. We know that he likes to throw a little extra spice in there for marketing purposes, even though now's not the time. Like, you ever been in a situation where you might have a buddy that you joke with and y'all be cutting it up, and you know you just had a bad moment and a mug come up to you and start ripping it, and you're like, yo, cut it. You chopping at the neck like, cut it. Now's not the time. We get that you got to advertise stuff, but you going over the line as far as bloviating and making stuff up, bro. Like, now's not the time. We know that Phil always, like Charlie Murphy said, Phil Spencer's an habitual line crosser. Well, pop, somebody got to go. He's an habitual line crosser. He's always crossing the line. The late, great Charlie Murphy said about Rick James. We know Phil is an habitual line crosser when it comes to being transparent and straightforward and honest with his core. I've seen it myself up front personally. I've seen communications from the brass to where they were given a direct question. Yo, Phil, I'm supporting you like no other, brother. Where are the games? Are you really focused on this type of stuff, or you transitioning to something else? Let me know what's going on so I know what meal I'm eating, what dish I'm eating tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know what's going on. And Phil, with the habitual line crossing, will say something in so many words to put you at ease, to make you think he's concerned and he's working on what you asked him about. But if you have experience with the double speak or the business babble like your boy MM2K, you know he's just avoiding the question. And it doesn't come to fruition to anybody that isn't commonly dealing with that type of double speak until the moment arises. Hold on. When I read that email, you made it seem like that it was this and that. And then you look over and be like, that motherfucker. He's put it in a way to where if I'm technically going back and forth with him, technicality, that I didn't have to. But see, here's the thing, man. You deal with technicalities when you're talking with friends. You deal with technicalities when you got to deal with family sometimes, and you be like, you got me. I got an uncle, man. Me and my uncles, we cut up and we rip all the time. I got an uncle, man. He used to get me all the goddamn time. Big up to my Uncle John, man. My Uncle John get me all the time, and then when you finally realize that he got you on something, he be like, hey, sorry, sucker, and pull off or be leaving or something like that, or hang up on you if you called him on the phone to confront him. But Phil's not my uncle. Phil's not even my friend. Not saying he's not a nice guy. He's probably one of the nicest people you'll run. I don't know. And guess what? Frankly, I don't care. My relationship with Phil is solely a consumer, a buyer-seller relationship. And in buyer-seller relationships, this type of bloviating, this type of habitual line stepping, right? This type of, let's call it for what it is, this type of deceit is unacceptable. And I'm not just saying it's unacceptable because MM2K is agitated and he scratched a rash on his neck because he's so upset. I'm not saying it because it's unacceptable in some forms of the law. For instance, all these fine line regulations and stuff that people used to have with cars, they can no longer get away with it. Lawmakers decided to make a law that says, hey, you try to be deceitful like this, you're going to have a penalty to you. Now, big ups to Shogun 2K. Shogun 2K says, would you get torment for Game Pass? Thank you, Shogun 2K, for the live chat. It's just as easy as that, baby. Just as easy as that. Caught my eye like boom. Shogun 2K. I have Torment standalone. It looks like a very interesting game, and it was very acclaimed. And if y'all don't know what Torment is, it's an RPG. One of the top-down RPGs that your boy MM2K is into. I love the Van Helsing games. They are on console now. Definitely check them out. It was my co-game of the year with Tomb Raider. I know I keep going back and forth, and I keep saying Tomb Raider was game of the year and Van Helsing, but really, I put a lot of time into the Van Helsing games. With that being said, Game Pass is a subscription service, so it's tacked into it's tacked on to Game Pass. So it's not a matter of getting it out of Game Pass. If you subscribe to Game Pass, you got it. You got it, Chief. You got it. So if you think that the $9.99 a month is worth it, then go for it, man. Go for it. Who am I? I got another one. Okay. Same one from Shogun. Yep. So it's not about getting Torment from Game Pass. It's if you get Game Pass, you get Torment included. And Torment, I haven't booted it up yet, but it's been getting a lot of claims, and it's the style of game that I like, so I would definitely check it out. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I said before, I don't have And Shogun also says, okay, thanks, I did not use my free trial yet for Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. But here's my thing about Game Pass, and this is what I've been preaching about Game Pass. I've been preaching that the problem that we're having with Phil Spencer, okay, you got to chop it. Whenever you go buy a product or service, you got to look at the product and service and say, hey, do I like what I see? Or is it just something that I'm interested in? Or am I not interested at all in the product? Not the people behind it, not the smiles, not the giggles, the actual product. And when you watch that product, if you look at that product, right? Look at the product. And you're like, okay, I'm just curious. Then what you have to do is only commit yourself to just going through the trial like Shogun 2K said. Do not say, oh, I'm just going to load up. Don't do that. Because people like Phil Spencer have an agenda. And we're going to talk about it. They have an agenda. And if you give in too soon, based off the smiles and the giggles and the limbo shirts and all that other shit, then he got you. And it's going to have long-term ramifications. We're going to talk about that too. So anything in Microsoft product related, I urge you, I'm not to say Sony is perfect. I don't like Sony games. And it's nothing, and my chat knows that. The people that watch MM2K's material know that I'm not a big fan of it, but I give kudos where kudos is deserved. I can be unbiased in my evaluation of what they're doing for their customer base, right? So I ain't got to use my personal taste to smack down what they're enjoying out of my own jealousy, right? I don't have to do that. But what I'm saying is, as an Xbox gamer, anything Microsoft games related or coming out of the house of Phil Spencer, coming out of Coffee Shop Redmond, only dedicate yourself to the trial until you've got a chance to fully vet it out. Once you fully vetted it out, if you like what you see, then go get it. Do not commit yourself to anything Microsoft related based on a promise. Ooh, this is coming down the pike, so I might want to get into this now. That's Microsoft's game, and you don't want to play that game with them. Period. Now, like I said, I don't know him personally. I don't care to know him personally. And just for those reasons I said, and I talked about this yesterday, you want to put up a paywall when you, not a paywall, you want to put up a wall when you're dealing with a Fortune 500 company. A Fortune 500 company's purpose is just to boost you up as a consumer so they can get connected to the investor. Consumer, and this is nothing against Sony, Nintendo, this is what everybody. As a Fortune 500 company, your number one priority is not your consumer, it's the investor. That's the reason why you became Fortune 500. When you go put together a business and you go even incorporate or become an LLC or a proprietary, whatever, it don't matter. You don't have to be a Fortune 500. You don't have to get on the stock market. There's certain parameters and litmuses that you got to reach, and then you can do that. But that's a choice. Just because you're successful, that's a choice. There's plenty of multi-million, maybe even billion-dollar companies that are still privately owned. Meaning they're not that the access cannot. That the public cannot buy shares of that individual company. So going Fortune 500 is a choice. When you choose to go Fortune 500, you've basically said, now we're putting our money in the hands, the bulk of our money in the hand of investors. Because we know that the investors the market is going to outweigh our consumer base. We're going to benefit from the consumer base, but we're using the consumer base as a catalyst to reach the investors. And what we say to the investors is, look how much money we made last year. This is the projection that we're going to make for next year. It's going to be more. If you put your dollar in with us, your dollar will grow at the same rate that we're growing, and we're growing fast. So come on. That's the whole stock market. It has nothing to do with you as far as you being a priority. It's just that you are now an inch to it means they have created a gimmick, a product or whatever that is lucrative. It ain't got to be quality. It ain't got to be pure quality. If they got you hook, line, and sinker, they use that. Hey, this is how we got our people hook, line, and sinker. Invest in us. Some Fortune 500 companies tend to do it based upon quality. Some tend to do it based upon gimmicks. Some tend to do it based upon a little bit of both. But success and quality are not synonymous. So with that being said, we have this quandary in regards to the performance of Phil Spencer with his core. I mean, you guys heard it. Man. Did y'all hear that interview with homie Next Gen 720 and bro Kid Smooth? And I told you, look, Next Gen 720 is knocking it out of the park, man. He's knocking it out of man. Let's round of applause for Next Gen 720. You know why I got to dedicate a minute or two. And I'm not doing that just because I roll with the book. I got to dedicate a minute or two. Tell you what my brother's doing and why it's genius. I said this yesterday. I really urge y'all after this to listen to my stream that I did on Twitch, man. I really went all out to outline some stuff for you guys. But the reason why I'm giving it to my bro, pause, Next Gen 720, is because this Xbox treehouse that everybody's come to for comfort, he built. And that's why everybody's here. All these YouTubers that you see, for the most part, that's doing this Xbox shit, they came to Next Gen 720's treehouse for comfort. They watched his ways, watched how he got down and did his thing, and said, well, if I put my spin on it, now I'm comfortable. But if I put my spin on it, maybe I can build my own sector to the treehouse, right? Now, some people decided to do it and co-join and join and make it an extension from Next Gen 720's treehouse. But more often than not, they decided that they wanted to build their own treehouse using Next Gen 720's blueprint, but putting their own coat of paint on it. Fine, whatever, right? But Next Gen 720 one day looks out the window. And he's like, all right, we're in our treehouse. We feel confident from all the other naysayers and all the haters out there in the world. We done bought our little Debbie snack cakes and shit. We brought them back to the treehouse and we're all having a good time. And we've separated ourselves from all the other things out there in reality. Because reality is just too harsh right now, right? Right? Then he peers out the window of the treehouse one day and he says, yo, there's a big ass storm coming. And that big ass storm is going to blow away these little tree houses. Hey, yo, we better go out here and reinforce this shit. Because the shit that we got right here ain't working. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to keep us in the trees. And everybody's like, oh, hold on. You know what, Next Gen? Nah, man, we ain't with that stuff, man. You want to go out there in reality? You built this tree. We're separated from reality. Now you want us to step out of it? Oh, hell no. We're staying out of reality. Look, man, me staying in reality, staying out of reality, and in this treehouse, man, some of them Swiss roll cakes that I brought in for me to munch on myself, now I'm selling them to other people that want to come to the treehouse. This has become a little bit more lucrative for me. This is a business for me now at Next Gen 720. This ain't about spreading the truth consistently all the time anymore. I got people that want to come to the setting of the treehouse and eat these Swiss roll cakes. So you go worry about the storm all you want. We'll figure it out once it comes. And Next Gen 720 is like, y'all really ain't going to help me reinforce this shit? And that storm represents this catastrophic change at Xbox. And Next Gen 720 goes outside of the treehouse and he says, hold on, y'all really gonna let this storm just blow all this shit down? Yeah. Fuck you talking about? Get out of here before we render you unconscious, knock you out of your Pumas. Right? So Next Gen 720 rolls. He finds more stable footing because that storm was coming. And all we had to do was come out of that treehouse with him and reinforce it, or in other words, take a stance against what was happening and say, hey, if y'all want to do this streaming and all this other shit, okay, we get it. Satya Nadella is not going to have a gaming division that is not cloud-oriented in some shape, form, or fashion. We get it. But if y'all going to do this shit, y'all better give us the goods. Where are the games? Where is the real support for the console? Like, you're taking away the exclusivity from it. So what do we get discounts on Xbox Live? Something. Apple does that. If you have an Apple product, you get discounts on iTunes Music. Their way of giving you value for the console is they let you finance it with Game Pass Ultimate. And they let you do it 6 months free of charge or free of finance, some dumb shit. Aaron Greenberg had the audacity to utter that dumb shit at E3 on Gamerslice on Gamertag Radio. That their way of giving value to the console is allowing you to bundle it up with Game Pass Ultimate and Xbox Live and finance it through Dell. Through this, what's it called? Xbox All Access initiative. I guess they're going to expand on that. That's their way of giving value to the console. And next year, 720 is like, this storm is coming. It's looking bad, y'all. Like we did. And look, in full discretion, yeah, we may have bullshitted here and there a little bit. But in totality, if I would have known that this storm was coming, I would have reinforced this a little bit more, y'all. We got to get out here and reinforce this before the storm hits. And everybody's like, no, we're separated from that mean reality. All these people in the media bias talking shit on us. We're not leaving. We're going to figure it out once it gets here. I'm selling Little Debbie snack cakes. My homie over here got the cream pies. Man, this is too lucrative right now. We're not getting out of here. And here's the ingenious part. Next year, 720 just kept doing this thing. He just kept doing it. And he told y'all that when y'all get caught up in that whirlwind and you have to land, I might catch you. I might let you hit splat on the fucking concrete. But I'm the one that stepped out in time. I'm the one not caught up in the eye of the storm. You are. And he's circling the masses. And he's going around the community. He's not rubbing it in their face online. But he's asking you. He's asking, do y'all think y'all responsible for the stubbornness to stay in the... Look at this E3. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. Look at this E3. He told you that they were going to come bigger than they've ever come before. And the general consensus is that this was one of the worst E3s that Microsoft has ever had. And the revelation of that is so staunch. It's so heavy. The fog of that stench is so thick that Phil Spencer, Mr. Nice Guy, is now going on a campaign to unfollow and block people just for sheerly criticizing the showing. And he's just, next gen is just standing out there and he's picking and choosing who he's going to catch and let them fall lightly. But understand this. That compliance is just as bad as pulling the trigger. You could be charged with an accessory just for knowing something is going on and trying to turn a blind eye to it. With all the dog shit that y'all put this man through, talking shit on him and all this other stuff, to only now be echoing his words. See, he don't want to get down, but I got to do it. To only be echoing his words. It's karma, baby. Y'all have taken so many people, dragged them across this lowly desert with no water in sight just because it was lucrative for you. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Y'all should be ashamed. But we're going to set it right today. I personally may have failed, y'all. Excuse me. I may have failed y'all as far as getting my message out, but we're going to learn today. Now, like I said before, if y'all can do me a huge favor, you know what I mean? It's not even $1 in a dream. It's not even $1 in a dream. Don't cost you a thing. If y'all want something, if y'all got something to say in regards to anything that I just said or anything that we're going to cover over in this in this thought-provoking stream today, just put it right there in the free messaging chat. Right there, it don't cost you a dime, just a couple of clicks like my homie Shogun just did. Ask me about Torment for Game Pass. But let's get back on to the events at hand. So why am I doing all this? Why am I getting out of pocket and all this other stuff and yelling and screaming and trying to make Next Gen 720 seem like the martyr of all time? Why is your boy doing all this? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Somebody calling me. Anyway, all right. So here's the deal. Need y'all to pay attention to this. Okay, do you see that? Okay. Let me know if y'all see that. This is a tweet that I sent yesterday in response to some big news that was made from Phil Spencer in an interview with Your Gamer, I believe. In this interview, Phil Spencer says, oh, I didn't even know this Bunny said something. It was fantastic. Because she was right on, she hit it right on the nail. In this interview, Phil Spencer is asked about why are you only talking one console now when you originally were talking multiple consoles, last year. And again, this is that whole double speak, that whole deceitfulness, the whole thing where I was telling you that it's not just an MM2K irritation, I'm scratching the rash type thing. In some sectors, this is against the law to be this deceitful. If Phil Spencer was a car salesman and he tried to sell you a car based on the shit that comes out of his mouth, he would have lawsuits galore under the lemon car laws that are out there now because of this type of deceit. Certain sectors of the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. And fuck it, I'll tell you right now, fuck it, who cares? I've dealt with the Security Exchange Commission. I'm going to let you know right now, they ain't the funnest people to deal with. Because here's what happens. If you work for a Fortune 500 company, or really anybody that is somewhat traded, publicly, right? And even if the business sector that you work in, like I did, doesn't necessarily deal with stocks, but the product that you're handling deals with the movement of something connected to stocks. So play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. If in any shape, form, or fashion, if what you do, and you're a publicly traded company, but even if your business line isn't publicly traded, if anything that you do deals with the handling of anything related to anything that's traded on the stock market, a disgruntled or angry consumer can file a complaint with the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, and the SEC is on your ass. Pause. I've been minding my own business at work. I had plenty to do. All of a sudden, I get an email from a lot of I gotta watch how I say this. From senior representatives, I'll put it like this, from senior representatives from other areas that handle this type of third-party communication. And they come to me, they'll be like, yo, MM2K, we got a situation where SEC needs information, and it's in regards to your business sector. And I've literally have to stop everything that I've done until everything was crafted. You get this like questionnaire and it's crazy. And you have a deadline for the questionnaire. And once you get the questionnaire in, then you get to conversate with the SEC rep if they want to. So a lot of times you don't even know what the hell's going on in totality until the person wants to talk to you. And if I'm a disgruntled person and I'm just mad at everybody, I can get, and I say, you know what? I can get you via the SEC. I can go to the SEC and ruin your whole fucking day, your whole week, your whole month. Because sometimes these inquiries take forever if they feel like they got a reason to dig further. Normally, they can take anywhere up to 3 days to a week commonly, but I've seen a few where the motherfuckers they just wouldn't go away. If Phil worked or had to deal with any of those type of entities for the stuff that he says, he would be in a world of hurt. So again, me saying that this is deceitful, it's not an MM2K thing. You take the same level of non-transparency and double talk and apply it to other sectors of business that have rules that regulate this type of deceitfulness, and he would be in a world of trouble. It just so happens that lucky for Phil that he's safe enough in a sector that ain't got to worry about that shit based upon the stuff that he said so far. But with that said, again, I've seen the communications. They know what they're doing. This is not a charming big kid that's just fumbling over himself. No, it is not. This is all strategic. Now, what did he do yesterday? Excuse me. They got a lot of people up in the tensy. My tweet, and emphasis of my tweet was, anybody, and I repeat, anybody that takes any project, game, peripheral, date of birth, damn it, spoken of or under the helm of Phil Spencer at face value regarding how it will end up, better think twice. This is a snake oil salesman at best. So in response to the whole, hey, Phil, you talked about multiple consoles, but now you're only talking about one. What's up with that? And instead of there being full transparency, this is what your boy had to say. He says, in the interview, it was with Business Insider, he confirmed that Project Scarlet is the company's only next-gen console at this point in time. He says, last year, we said consoles, and we shipped a console, and now we detailed another console. I think that's plural. So in other words, he's saying that, yeah, I talked about multiple consoles when I was on E3 stage last year. But technically speaking, we sent the Xbox SAD out, which is a total irreversible disaster. And we're going to do Scarlet. So, all sphere love and war, I went on a technicality. Next question. But how do you feel comfortable in your own skin even uttering some shit like that? When you know that you have a consumer base seething at the teeth about the product or services that they're going to get and how it's going to be defined for them as hardcore gamers. Now, big ups, I want to highlight a couple of follow-up tweets here. Big up to Snow Bunny. Snow Bunny is a fellow panel member on Scram Punk's podcast. Follow us on Scram Punk's, Dirt Griggity's channel. Just look up Scram Punk's. Hashtag Scram Punk's for more information. Bunny is killed. She's world renowned now, man. She's on every podcast. We be joking around with her like, God damn, Bunny, you done made it. But Bunny was arguing a very valid point. Like, on our past Scram Punks, we were talking to the panel. We were like, yo, I know they've made investments in A, B, and C. But how can you take at full value what they say those investments are going to be when time after time after time, that everything that Phil Spencer puts his hands on turns into something else? Like, for instance, the initiative. I'm just going to talk recently. We already know the examples, which I'm going to go over some of them. But we already know the main examples of how what he's interpreted to be big and this and that was not that way to his core. But he understood that, and he did it to shut us the hell up and say, we'll cross that bridge once we get there, and I'll figure out some more doublespeak to deal with. Hence this. Hence this shit. Hence this shit. Last year we said consoles, and we shipped consoles, and we shipped a console, and we have another one today. He knew what the fuck he was doing. He's not confused. He gives you double speak. He shuts you up, gets you excited, gets you to buy more Game Pass, get you to, and when you show up at the show, what the fuck's going on? Then he does more double speak like that. Well, technically speaking, and the window gaming stands or the Wingumps or the goddamn like-em-soft gamers that, again, are the ones that still want to be in that treehouse even though that storm is coming, still want to sell their Swiss roll cakes and their oatmeal pies. They don't care about you, the gamer. They don't care about you being swallowed up in the eye of the storm, nor do they care about your sugar diabetes, feeding you all these goddamn sweets. They don't care about that. All they care about is, this is becoming lucrative to me. I feel like a rock star now. Now we got to keep these motherfuckers in the treehouse. And that serves Microsoft's purpose because they want to keep y'all coming so they can sell more Game Pass, more Game Pass, more Game Pass. But Next Gen 720 is the villain because he don't want you to get swallowed up. I mean, all of y'all that are listening to this that get mad at your boy, MM2K, if you got a complaint, go to batteredxboxgamers.com and register it there and shut up and go into the nether regions. All y'all saying that stupid, dumb shit, really think about it. You are mad at Next Gen 720. Hold on one second. You are mad at Next Gen 720 because he don't want you to get caught up in the eye of the storm. Y'all were mad at him. Y'all were ready to render this man outside of his sneakers, threatening and the safety of him and his family and his pets. You know what I'm saying? All because he just wanted y'all to come outside and reinforce the clubhouse so y'all back in and enjoy it for longer. That's all he wanted you to do. You'd rather sit up here and have all these goddamn sweets and be fed these fucking lies. And now that the storm is hitting the clubhouse and the roof is starting to come off, now y'all want, catch me, help me. Yeah, what is Xbox doing? Yeah, help me highlight it. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, y'all. But here's the thing that I want y'all to recognize, realize, and strategize. The internet doesn't go away, baby. The internet does not go away. What's Brighton? Do me a favor. I love what you had to say, but I want the world to hear it and the world to see it. Put it in the free messaging chat. Put it in the free, you know what I'm saying, all Tussin? Put it in the free messaging chat. We're going to take the biggest knife out the drawer today. Put it in the free messaging chat. A little Tussin's on it. Like, who? I'm going to, and again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm streamlining the chat, but put that in the free messaging chat. I want people to visually see this. I want them to see it on the screen. Because I want them to realize that this is not fodder coming from MM2K to make something up to just yell about. No. See, put that in the free chat. Put that in the free chat. D Almighty. Hey, bro, can we do this after the show? After the show, because I got this like kind of jerry-rigged and I don't have it set up stably. Like if you were to see my setup, you'd be like, God damn, you tried to set a house fire. I don't have this set up stably to really invite people. This is all for a visual effects show. Can you do me a favor? We'll definitely do something because I got some content coming. And I definitely want to put you on. So hit me up after this show and we'll get something rolling. Definitely. But again, just throw a message out there, bro. And I want everybody to follow my homie D Almighty, man. Me and D Almighty's philosophy on gaming couldn't be more different as far as what our likes are. With that being said, we understand what's important to gaming in totality. Giving people what they want. Not getting people to like you. See, this is what I want my Xbox people to understand. This is why we get laughed at. We talk so much stuff about PlayStation podcasts, about how, and PlayStation Twitter people and trolls, or how they focus so much on Xbox, right? They say, yeah, y'all tweet so much about Xbox, and y'all broadcast more about Xbox than y'all do y'all own fucking games. And you know what? To be technical, because y'all love dealing with technicalities, right? That may be true in a lot of regards. But here's one thing that PlayStation podcasters, gamers, people on social media, they don't do. Excuse me. They don't idolize the individual. They idolize the product. See, they have a different ends to a means. Their ends to a means is all this jive talking, the shit talking that they do on social media, and the constant balance. It's all sport for them. It's all sport. The real meat and potatoes is the games. But for us on Xbox, we do all this hiding and running and separation from reality because the real meat and potatoes for y'all has now become the community. It's not about the games anymore. Because if it was about the games, y'all wouldn't be making all these damn excuses. Y'all praising Phil, no matter what he says to y'all. Y'all jumping out the window, wanting to tell everybody how to run their shit because Mike Ybarra shows up on your shit. I can't take Phil and pop him inside of my cartridge and get a AAA experience. I can't even get an honest experience if I pop him into anything. I can't take Mike Ybarra, plug him up to an HDMI port, and get the best goddamn shooter RPG since BioShock. I do that with the games. I do that with the games. So now y'all have been conditioned and been construed to turn a hardcore AAA product, fire and brimstone, into a coffee shop connected community. That's what you're selling. All this connectivity shit, Nextcloud. I mean, I don't, trust me. And just to the point I just made. D Almighty, let them know, bro, you can't stand game streaming, right? I don't mind it. I just had to pause my podcast because my wife wanted to tell me that she's going to go spend MM2K's money with my mother-in-law. And I said, why? You know I'm broadcasting. Why the hell you call me to tell me that, rub that in my face? So when I do go hang out with my wife, guess what we doing? We shopping. Guess what I got in my hand, my phone, and I'm just scrolling through looking at game news articles. Everything I do is either gaming related or martial arts or all that other, if it ain't work related, right? That's my stick. I would love to be able to pull out my retractable controller that fits around my phone and maybe get it to some Division 2 while I'm waiting for her ass to spit up all my money in Victoria's Secret, right? So I don't mind it. But with that being said, that's not the end-all tell-all for MM2K or other hardcore gamers. It's just being connected to people. That is the icing on the cake. The actual cake, the actual batter is the goddamn games. Or the games that you help influence. We're going to talk about it later. If you look at what Phil helped bring to fruition, it seemed like he was never about the hardcore games. As far as it being a consistent thing pumping out of Microsoft Studios. It seems like it never was. We just got bamboozled. We got bamboozled. Now, I was highlighting Bunny. Bunny had brought up that point. I hate to do this, man. But this is an example of people that have been conditioned and conformed to no longer praise the games or the gaming footprint that Microsoft bring to fruition. And when I say that again, games like BioShock didn't stay exclusive to Microsoft. Games like Fallout were never exclusive to Microsoft. But Microsoft was integral in making those games come to fruition. They tell you that. Todd Howard, Ken Levine, they tell you. Mass Effect as well. Those 3 games are of the top, in the top 5 games for a lot of gamers, hardcore gamers of last gen. And if not, they're still considered pivotal because they brought the whole Western development thing into fruition as far as leading game development. So if you like them or not, you can't deny their influence. Those were of the 3, if not the 3 most influential games last generation. Next to Call of Duty. So, when you have a situation where that's how they operated, bringing those type of games to fruition exclusively, or at least contributing in that type of gaming footprint, and then they convert to this, where it's all about just being connected and being nice together. You have now been conformed. You have now been molded to like something completely different than you originally got in the game to do. And that's where Microsoft got into your head psychologically. And if you follow your boy, I talk to you from a Fortune 500 level. Understanding psychology is a thing that we all must do. Because all we're doing is we're looking at demographics and we're looking at metrics and we're looking at ways to capitalize on patterns that the consumer base has subconsciously that they don't even realize what they're going to do. It's done in business all the time. We take courses every month on this shit. We take courses every month on understanding what you're going to do before you even do it. So again, this is not by circumstance that this is doing. This is not an accident. This is all intentional that Phil is doing. With every single incident, he's just testing the waters a little bit more to see how far he can go before he has to stop and actually produce something. Produce something tangible for his hardcore. With that said, my homie Lifer responded to that tweet that I put out there and said, when you look at it, here's the conditioning, folks. When you look at it, he did say consoles at E3, and the reality is, look at him. He put the acronym out there so it wouldn't read sad. The SAD has been built and shipped, and Scarlet is on the way. So consoles was right. Just not what everyone had expected, right? So it's not Phil being deceitful. It's just we're too stupid to interpret his intentional words or the intentional meaning from the words. Now look at how Sony still adverse the Pro and really think about snake oil salesmen. Huh? Number one, I'm not even going to address the Sony thing because we're talking about what's going on in our house. I got kids, and like I tell my kids, well, look, my friend Johnny, his mom lets him smoke pot and sell crack on the corner. Not in my motherfucking house, you're not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about Sony. So again, I try not to get political, but Trump, stop talking about Hillary. You're in the White House now, okay? So we're talking about Xbox. We're not talking about Sony. Let's just say, what the fact of the matter is, that part of that comment doesn't even make any sense. But let's just say if it did make sense. Does that nullify Phil being a snake oil salesman? Because I don't particularly go to the store looking for Sony products. I go to the store looking for Microsoft products. So them being a snake oil salesman doesn't affect me and affect the issue that I'm addressing with my fellow Xbox brethren. And you know MM2K. MM2K is going to address everybody. I'm the Ronin. I'll chop off anybody's head. Y'all seen it before. We've gone back and forth. I'm going against everybody. With that being said, we're going to deal with the issue at hand and we're not going to go into the weeds. But that part doesn't even make sense. But before I go into my response, let's go into some facts here. Okay. So the facts are, here goes a follow-up tweet I had to do. I said, Phil Pets. And I hate to say it, not to be mean, but we kind of read a Phil Pet message just now. Phil Pets. But MM2K, Snarf, he never said multiple gen consoles. Snarf, you're toxic. Shows article. Phil Pets, they run off. What is that article that's going to make them run off? There's this Eurogamer article after the 2018 E3 show. During Microsoft's E3 2018 media briefing, Phil Spencer announced work had begun on the next Xbox consoles. Here's the quote in full. The same team that delivered unprecedented performance with Xbox One X is deep into architecting the next Xbox consoles, where we will once again deliver our commitment to set the benchmark for console gaming. Okay. So, in lieu of that, I go back to this. And I responded. So in lieu of that, I said, He said they're deep in architecting the next Xbox consoles, where they will set the benchmark for console gaming. So question 1, what benchmark is the sad setting? Question 2, architecture. They just took out the fucking hard drive, literally. The eject button is still there. 3, not like this, bro. Not like this, bro. Here's the problem. I gave a scenario yesterday. Say I'm in Arby's. I go to get my food. They tell me, sir, you ordered a roast beef sandwich, but it's going to take us some time to get it. Just give us some time and we'll come out. And I'm there for 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. Then it starts becoming hours. Now, on the flip side of that, you've come in there earlier and you've eaten your food. You've got your food, but you've eaten your food. But you've also heard the clerk say in the back, you know what? We ran out of roast beef and we're not getting any until next week. So the only reason why they're telling me that now is because they want me to get tired of waiting, give the money, and then just walk out. They don't want to give me my money back, basically. They've even offered, sir, we know your wait has been long. Thank you so much for waiting. Hey, can we offer you an opportunity to buy a drink while you wait? You know what I'm saying? To get more money out of me while they're making me wait when they know what their full intention is. Now you on the other end of knowing this, or let's flip the script. It's not me waiting for his food. It's you waiting for your food. And I'm the person that knows that there ain't no roast beef sandwiches and they're throwing you the okie doke. Is it gamer-like, or is it community-like, or is it even good for me to just hop about in my seat and say, hey, you over there, you're sitting there whining and complaining, waiting for your food. They offered you an opportunity to buy you a drink. They offered you an opportunity to buy yourself a drink. You need to just shut up and wait until they give you your roast beef sandwich, or you can just leave and let them keep your money and go about your business and shut up. I'm enjoying my chicken sandwich, and I shouldn't have to deal with this. You would look at me and probably slap me into oblivion, and I wouldn't blame you for doing it, for saying something kookamaney like that. Nonetheless, this is the MO that Xbox gamers are into right now. It's even here in my chat, which is okay. I don't want to discourage anybody from expressing themselves. Even though I've said on time and time again, let's let the world see that motif and let's talk about it. But that's okay. They don't want to do that. And that's all right. I digress. With that being said, that's essentially what Xbox gamers are doing. They're saying, hey, M2K, shut up. Okay, I may know that you're not getting your games. I may know that they're not coming. But I want to root for this company. And I want to do it in peace. And I can't do it in peace if there's someone like you out there, out in reality, bucking the system. Stop bucking the system because you're making me feel self-conscious about my choice. And to me, that's absurd. As someone that's been gaming for 30 plus years, that's absurd. Because it's never been like that. Look, fanboy warring has never. I mean, fanboy it wasn't just created. We talked about this on Scram Punks with Griggity. There were Nintendo fanboys and Sega fanboys. You know what I'm saying? It was never. It wasn't as fierce as it was now because there wasn't no social media back then. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't all connected. But there's always been fanboys, right? But never has fanboy fodder been to the point to where I know you're getting gypped. And therefore, I'm getting gypped. But I know it. But I don't care. I don't care, and I don't want you to care about it either. Just shut your mouth, keep your head down, and I don't want to give bragging rights to these other people that got something negative to say about what I've selected, because that's going to make me feel self-conscious. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen it, but we're seeing it now. And it's truly sad. So, what are some other things that Phil is doing that is really detrimental to the Xbox brand? Well, he attacks his fan base. I mean, we've already talked about this. Exhibit A. We've talked about this before. This infamous battle between him and Crap Gamer, where he got on Crap's case because Crap canceled his Quantum Break order because it was coming to the Play Anywhere thing. Crap's MO was, Z's highlighted that he was mad about some things that Phil had did. But he was, what he did is he highlighted a sentiment that a lot of Xbox gamers had at the time. It's like, hold on. You seem to be catering to them, and we still need help over here. Why are you catering to them? Like, we're the ones that are keeping you afloat. Like, why? Why are you doing this? Excuse me. And Phil responded in a way that says, look, we're focused about reaching everybody. We're focused about servicing everybody. And this goes right in hand with some things Phil has said, like when he talked to Forbes. What keeps Xbox head Phil Spencer up at night? Distasteful console wars. And if you read this article that he did with Forbes, he describes the console wars as people wanting them to compete. And competing is a horrible thing. And Phil says that the competition that we want is toxic because it requires him to have a product better than Sony's and quote unquote drive them down. But again, here's the doublespeak, because in the same place where he said that, the Giant Bomb interview, he also said some negative things competitively against Stadia. In the light of competition, right? So what he's basically exhibiting to you is that I just don't care about fostering the quality and product that you're looking for. That's not in my MO. I don't care. I do care about competition. It's not all about us locking hand and lockstep. Because if that was the case, then I'd be saying positive things about Google Stadia that I said about PlayStation on Dice's stage. And you don't see Microsoft doing that. So that's double speak. It's bullshit. Then you also have this disconnect where, again, he doesn't know what the core wants. I'll give you another example. Here goes the infamous Eurogamer interview. In that Eurogamer interview, Phil is asked, he's asked specifically, and let's increase this a little bit so you guys can see this. At I think that was E3 2017, he was asked by Eurogamer, you had a lot of games, which was great, but where was the big first-party game announcements, right? And a Snow Bunny, I hope you're watching, because this also equates to something that you had brought up when we were talking on Scram Punks. Phil Spencer says, so our first party game announcements on stage was Forza. He was going to the Forza Gears and Halo. Forza Gears and Halo. And the guy interrupts and says, okay, but we knew about Forza. It was a known quantity, that one. So the next thing that he talks about as far as first party games, he says, well, it was announced. You can't take that away from me, but it wasn't announced. Ori, which looks fantastic. Super Lucky Tail. Did you see that? He literally says that right here. Right? So the guy says, oh, come on, man. What are you? I said big first party games. And he says, I'm talking more about that. Phil Spencer cuts him off. You're not liking my answer. Okay, what do you want us to show? Every time I read this, I get a kick out of it. So the guy has to break it down in Ebonics for him. You know what I mean. AAA, big Microsoft first-party games. And unknowingly and uninsured, Phil Spencer answers, well, you think of Sea of Thieves as that, right? And the reason why I said I hope Bunny is listening, because Bunny was there during Scram Punks when we were having this debate about what AAA is. And it came up in the discussion that Sea of Thieves was AAA. According to Phil, he don't even know if Sea of Thieves is AAA. And then my man responds, yeah, but that had been announced. I'm talking about a big first-party AAA announcements to get us really excited about Xbox One X. So, you also have the disconnect there as far as what the AAA material that we want, that we're looking for, versus what they're willing to provide on a regular basis. And then lastly, his acclaim to Sony at DICE. Where he just pretty much praised them up and down. Sony's the best thing since sliced bread. They got the hardcore games, and you guys idolize them. And to me, after seeing everything that I've seen, I think he's done that. And Next Gen brought this up. I think he's done that to pretty much say, you know what? This is the lane that we're driving in. We're giving you guys a bunch of AA experiences. Our AAA experiences are going to be Halo, Gears, and Forza. Every now and again, you might get something additional. Like Next Gen, we'll throw you a Fable. Maybe after that, the initiative might work on something. Who knows? Who knows? But their focus, unlike Xbox and passes, their primary focus isn't a hardcore gaming experience. And it's not expanding it. I have no problem with expanding beyond a hardcore gaming experience. But there's a difference between expanding and purging. When you expand, you keep what you got and you add to it. When you purge, you replace what you have with something else. And what we have here is a purging. Now, before I go into where we're at now, I would like to repeat. I'd like to repeat that, if you guys got something that you feel like that you need to say, and you could also help support the channel, you could just put it through the free messaging app. It's free of charge. Right there. And I'll read it live on air. And then we can discuss it right then and there. Where we at now, though? And let's get to the meat and potatoes of the question. Is Phil Spencer the right man for Xbox? Well, if you look at things in totality, Phil wanted the E3 stage. He wanted to utilize that space to highlight the artsy aspects of gaming. I mean, he said that in the Giant Bomb interview. He's concerned with all the legislation and stuff that's out there right now, that gaming is being trampled on as far as he's concerned. And it's very scary for gaming because of a lot of this legislation. I will say there's some things that I'm seeing out here that is not reassuring. But as far as Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo are concerned, I spoke about this in my video earlier today. You have Epic Games, you have EA Games talking about loot boxes at the in front of the UK Parliament, I believe it was. But some of the biggest benefactors of those loot boxes, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, were nowhere to be found. That speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks to the honesty of this whole dog and pony show. Like, are they really looking to make some change, or are all these government entities looking to find some way to capitalize on this, to put a tax on it or whatever? But I talk about it in my video. I urge you guys to watch my YouTube video earlier today. That said, he uses that as an excuse. I want it, and that's why he said that's why he really wanted not Microsoft. That's why he really wanted EA and Sony there. He said it's not the same without EA and Sony. Big ups to KWO. KWO says, the indie scene has been showing the artsy side of video games for years now. Phil is 5 years. Phil is 5 years late to the party. Hey, look. No truer words have ever been spoken, my brother or my sister. And look. But again, KWO, to that point, it's an ends to a means. It's an ends to a means. It's just an excuse. Just like I'm not big on driving one man down to bring another man up. That's bullshit. Because you're trying to outdo and drive down Google Stadia. You're trying to outdo them. Because they're competing in the big space that you want to play in. So he uses that legislation. You can't take Phil's words at face value. You just can't do it. You cannot take Phil's words, again, at face value. I keep telling y'all that. He's only using that as an excuse. Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, they've talked about cloud streaming together. They've talked about, I'm doing cloud streaming. They've talked about so many things. They've even showed up on Jeff Keighley's stage together to talk about the future of gaming. Hold on one second. They've talked about many things. They've talked about Microsoft talking about inclusion and toxicity in gaming and all this other stuff. You have never seen Phil Spencer. You've seen nobody from Sony. You've seen nobody from Nintendo hop up on the stage, go on social media, and go on a tirade about, ooh, these new laws that are out here are scary to us. You have not seen anything from an executive stratosphere within the last year or so that Phil is indicating that has been a primary focus on any of these top console gaming entities. So out of nowhere, it's a concern, and it's the quote-unquote reason why Phil went super soft, like him soft, on the stage. It's bullshit! But I digress. You know what I'm saying? It's come on. Y'all can't take what he says on stage at face value. Phil is a goddamn liar. And if he said some of the things that he says on a regular basis in other business sectors, he would not only face lawsuits, he'd be rated by the SEC and everything. We just talked about that. He didn't go soft on the stage and talk all this shit about how he wished what's it called was there. That was smoke and mirrors. He did it because he thought it was the greatest opportunity to get into the minds of the groups of potential gamers that he really cares about, which is the casuals. So what does Phil do? Phil tells y'all he's going big. He says this is going to be the biggest. He says this is going to be the biggest E3 ever. Microsoft history. It's going to be the biggest one ever. See, we make the mistake, again, of thinking Phil is just clumsy or doesn't know what he's doing. Phil is very strategic. He's very smart. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's not dumb. He just don't give a shit about what you give a shit about. Unless you give a shit about him. If you're one of these like him soft gamers that just love Phil, and you're sold into the community more than you are the games, then you're getting what you want. I get it. Some of us have had emotional experiences. I'm not trying to be funny to say this. I get it. Because, there was a time at work where I was working 13, 14, 15-hour days and my escape through video games, it was very difficult for me. Very difficult. I was building a program. I had to teach myself SQL. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the money or resources for me to go to class. And so I had to do this and do my regular job. So it was a very difficult time for me. So my escape was coming home and popping in my RPGs and playing my games. So I get it. Some of us get emotional ties to this shit. But sometimes those emotional ties can disrupt our judgment. Pretty much. That's what it is. It does it all the time. We get nostalgic over things, and then when we see them again as we get older, we'll be like, ooh, oh shit, man, that really wasn't that good. Let me give y'all an example. Not to go too far in the weeds, get right back into the subject matter. One of my favorite, people would ask me all the time, what is your favorite martial arts movie ever? And I would, without hesitation, say a movie called Mantis versus Falcon Claw. And they'd be like, Mantis versus Falcon Claw? You're trying to say that it's better than the Bruce Lee movies? That, I'm like, fuck it, man. It kills Bruce Lee. Mantis versus Falcon Claw. And the reason why I said that was because the way the story was designed, it was designed it was like this nerdy guy. He didn't know karate. He was getting embarrassed all over the place. He was getting slapped up and down the corner of the boulevard. You know what I'm saying? And he runs into this guy. He runs from the village. He's embarrassed. I mean, the guy's taking his woman and, and rubbing it in his face and all this other stuff. It's just a horrible situation for this guy. This guy really looked pitiful. And he just looked sad. And he looked like he didn't know what to do. And he runs across a guy that shows him karate. And then he ends up becoming a karate master. And he goes back and he saves the village and beats this badass martial artist enemy, evil guy that couldn't be beat for years and decades, right? And that story was the first martial arts story that I've ever seen like that. I saw Mantis versus Falcon Claw. I saw it first in the 80s, and I used to import games from Japan. You know what I'm saying? I used to import games from Japan. We used to pay this guy that we know $100, and he would go get us imported games for the Genesis. But before we started getting those imported games for the Genesis, he also had a pipeline to these type of movies that were not big in the United States. So I went and paid this guy. We paid this guy to give us this movie in the late 80s. It was late 80s or early 90s. And because we put in our money to get this movie, and because we've never seen this type of movie before, it was better than everything we've seen. I was real young at the time, right? Fast forward to, I want to say about good 10, maybe 15 years ago. I was just sitting there and I'm like, yo, I had just saw Tony Jaa. I saw Tony Jaa. And me, and big up to Nature Boy. And we had just saw The Protector. And Nature Boy had said to me, he said, man, I think that's like the best martial arts movie that I've ever seen in my life. And I said, nope. I did that shit like that Shannon Sharp meme with like, nope. Nope, skip. I'm like, nope. Mantis versus Falcon Claw, best martial arts movie ever. And Nature Boy was one of the guys that chipped in with us to go get this movie. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you, MM2K? That movie was dog shit. And I'm like, nope, watch it again. So, again, this movie was so hard. I went and looked for this movie. Couldn't find it anywhere. Finally, I found it on the internet. I had to pay this guy $200. I think he was in Australia. I paid him $200 to get a VHS copy of the movie. He shipped it to me. We watched that movie. I'm telling you, Mantis versus Falcon Claw is one of the worst fucking martial arts movies ever made. That was the worst $200 that I've ever spent in my life. I'm telling you. But again, nostalgia and emotions will cloud your judgment. And sometimes you don't want to admit it. I spent $200 based upon my clouded judgment. And a lot of you guys are out here defending Phil, doing what my man did, trying to play Johnny Cochran to his mass murder here. To Phil's mass murder with his words. Talking that silly shit. Well, technically, if you take the bibble babble and the skibble gabble and trying to make sense of his bullshit. When you look at it, he did say con souls. Like, come on. Until it finally hits you. And I don't know what it's going to take for it to but it will hit you that he's lying. And that he does not have the same objective that you have, which is providing you hardcore, nuanced experiences. Now, if you're not looking for hardcore, nuanced experience, not everybody ain't looking for that. There are possibly Xbox fans that really don't care about hardcore, nuanced experiences, and that's fine. They don't care about them at all. And if you don't care about them, and you just want to have access to a plethora of games, and you like just want to be Steam direction where they hit you, impound you with shovelware, then Phil's your guy. But for the rest of us that say that is something that we want as a pillar, it got to be the tell all end all. There are AA games that you can like that are good. You know what I'm saying? Like that Bleeding Edge might actually be good, but we don't want that to be the staple of the Xbox presence, right? So if what was the staple of the Xbox presence, you want that to remain and want them to expand off of that, it's not going to happen. And when you try to damage control and make it seem like it is, then you're only lying to yourself. You're letting your emotions, your nostalgia, whatever it may be, cloud your better judgment. Period. He's shown you time after time. He showed you. Now, here's the problem with the way that he's handled everything and his strategy, right? For the hardcore as well. Even if you believe all his dog shit about he wants to use the stage to promote gaming in a better light, and that's why it was so artsy because of this legislation that nobody's talking about. They're talking about everything but this, and all of a sudden he decides to break open this scab on E3 stage. Please. But even if, let's play devil's advocate, and let's just say he was being honest. Here's the problem with the strategy. If you want to believe that Phil is trying to be honest, but he's just fumbling over some things. Here's the problem with the strategy. You have Sony that have its VPs hard at work to give them the experiences that they like. Whether we like them or not, and again, I'm in that camp where I really don't care for them, but whether we like them or not, we got Sony doing that for their people and Microsoft as well. You know what I'm saying? Then you go to Nintendo. You got Nintendo VPs working hard to give their people the experiences that they want. And then you got Microsoft as well. Banjo-Kazooie. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. But for Microsoft, the only people that are batting for us is Phil Spencer, kinda. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the problem. He's spreading himself so thin, trying to do things for everybody else, that we're not getting what we're supposed to get in totality from our leader. And as a person that has managed managers, I can tell you, not managing wholeheartedly the people that you are in charge of primarily is poor leadership. And if your eyes are so big to where you can't help but focus on everybody but the team you've been assigned, then you need to move elsewhere. So to answer the question, is Phil Spencer the right guy for Xbox gamers? Or Xbox? No. He is perfect for Windows. Windows is not about providing the quality for the hardcore. It's not about that. It's about providing gaming experiences that have been accepted at mass and are lucrative to Microsoft. That's what Windows gaming is about. Xbox is about feeding the hardcore. And it can expand to providing a hardcore and XYZ experience. It don't matter. But the centrifuge of that is the hardcore, the AAA, the nuanced gaming experience that's made. A lot of it's been ported from PC, that's been condensed down to the ease of use of console. Or the ease of use for the console gamer. Simplified for the console-esque type of gaming. Right? That's what Xbox is really about. It's not the delivery of the service. Like, for instance, Phil wants to, like I always say, Phil wants to deliver you pizza in a jetpack. The problem is, it's not the jetpack. I mean, the jetpack is what has become their focus and whatever. It's the goddamn pizza. The pizza's still cold and uncooked. That's unacceptable. And he doesn't plan on cooking it and making it hot and cheesy and all other. He's not worried about that. What he's worried about is just showing up at your doorstep so you can go, yay, it's the Jetpack Pizza Man, yay! And y'all can talk about him on social media and y'all can be sold on the experience of meeting the Jetpack Pizza Man, which is the equivalent is the Microsoft Windows gaming community. That's what it's all about. And selling you on a community is a lot more cheaper and a lot more lucrative than selling you on AAA games. It takes a lot less effort and a lot less work. As long as I got content coming in there and you can talk, oh, this is new experiences there, and your mind is centrifuged and focused on just a community, here goes a different experience for me to sit with you and talk to you about. That's what they're selling you on. They're just selling you on a catalyst to bring you to the community. They're selling you on the community. They're not selling you on the game. The product is the community. And to me, that's a fucking problem. The community can be the icing on the cake, can be the staple. But I can't pop in Fred and Jonathan in my console and get a AAA experience. I need the game. That's what's at the core. And that's what your core is about. So understand. Xbox gamer. If you stay on board of this ship, it's not going to the pair of Xbox hardcore gaming experiences. It's not going to reach that pair. They've done a U-turn and they're going to community land. It's just all about the community. And they're just providing you different experiences so you can interact with the community. Hence Sea of Thieves. Hence why they released Sea of Thieves in the state that in an empty shell of a state that it is. I don't care what it is now. You charged me $60 for it in the state that it is, that it was in when it was released. And I get it came in Game Pass. But that's what they're about. Windows Gaming is about just providing you different experiences in volume for you to interact with the community. The community is their product. That's why when you see all this feedback coming back from E3, it was less about, ooh, this game blew my mind, and there wasn't focus on the games on a consistent basis. It was all about the interaction, having a beer, getting jovial with this person. You saw more of that shit than you saw about the actual conference itself. They're selling you on the community. And that's why they're enacting this thing where they're trying to make the community, quote unquote, less toxic. That's more important to them to make the millions or possibly billions of dollars they got to invest to do this, to implement this application in order to do this. Because they're selling you on a community because it's a lot cheaper thing to mass produce. And if you're okay with that, then okay. But understand, that's not what I came in the restaurant for. It's not what I came in the Arby's for. I asked for a roast beef sandwich and some curly fries. I didn't ask for some Go-Gurt and a spork. You know what I'm saying? And at the very least, Microsoft, if you ain't got the roast beef in there, tell me. And I'll go elsewhere. But no, y'all trying to be fraudulent about it. If you feel that your plan is so lucrative and that you're going to reach those 100 billion or 2 billion gamers or whatever it is, then you could be straightforward with me. You could be honest with me. You ain't got to lie to me. You can say, look, we've created new pillars. You know, we're transitioning into a broader experience that invites everybody. Well, we're focused on community and providing a multitude of different gaming experiences to a wider volume of people. Yeah. Will there be some symbolism of those ultra-violent games that you guys like so much? Yeah, they'll be here. They'll be here. But not in the totality. But those are not the pillar of our focus as we go into future generations. Even when it came to the multiple consoles thing, you could have said, look, as I always tell you guys, I've learned in the past to, to stop saying things out of order. And it's a process that I'm still learning. But with that being said, we're focusing more on one console. This is going to be a more powerful console. We're trying to bring you the best quality product possible for console gamers. And we've decided to narrow down our focus to get you the best product, period. That's what we're focused on now. We'll have more news later. That's all you had to say, bruh. You did not have to lie and try to play the technical game. You didn't have to do that. So, with that being said, so what is the answer for Phil? And I say one more time, guys. If you want to opine in this conversation and give your thoughts, and also support the channel, there goes the free messaging app. Just let me know what you think something that's on your mind, your thoughts, and I'll express it live on air. I'll stop midstream, and we'll talk about it. And let me know what you think about, again, the question is Phil the right man for Xbox? And I say he's the right man to push forward Windows gaming, but he's not right for Xbox and what Xbox was created on. And you know where I think Phil is better suited? Where he's best suited? Because he wants to focus on gamers no matter where you're at. Phil should be part of the ESRA. And the ESRA is like a lobbying service where they try to enact things and do things for gaming and deal with laws and stuff like that. If Phil was being honest on the Giant Bomb interview, then he should, in the near future, going to ESRA. Because like I said, the sign of a good leader is to manage wholeheartedly the people you're in charge of. I'm not saying not have concern for the other people on the periphery, but people are assigned to different groups for a reason. Somebody has to cover all the bases for that group while somebody else covers all the bases for the other group. And if there's any spillage after you've taken care of the group that you've been assigned to, yes, catch them. But you can't sacrifice the group that you've been assigned to focus on somebody else, because that group that you've been assigned to is trusting their future in you. They're trusting their well-being as far as whatever the products, goods, and services are in you. And you're doing them a disservice when your focus goes beyond them. So that's why I say Phil is not the right guy for Xbox. His eyes are bigger than Xbox, or maybe even when he wants to be granddaddy IOU for all the gaming. He needs to go to ESRA. And I'm going to drop this dime on y'all. I definitely think the wrong choice was made. I get it. Satya Nadella is the stream guy. Streaming had to be implemented or gaming was going. Satya went based upon Paul Thurrott and many other Windows insiders that go deeper into gaming, to go deeper than gaming, excuse me. Satya approached every business line and said, this is our goal in the future. Tell me how you can integrate this and why you should exist. And he had that conversation with every business sector, including Phil's business sector, which was the gaming sector. Satya was talking about integrating streaming and the mobile aspects of gaming into Microsoft, into Xbox, and into Windows gaming before Phil made a peep about it. This was Satya's goal. This is Satya's vision. So if Xbox or if gaming is going to stay at Windows, it had to integrate that in order to survive. So I get that. I'm not mad about that. But God damn it, the quality of the content has to remain intact to some degree and some level. And I think the wrong choice was made. I definitely think the wrong choice was made. Homie Maslin, this asshole. Homie Maslin says, Moss got Todd Howard tattooed on his chest and uses his Xbox to worship him. Also, Xbox is trash. Big up to my homie, the real Maslin. I got a restraining order against him. He's so goddamn abusive. And speaking of that, check out Scram Punks, man. Our last episode was fire. Hashtag Scram Punks, man. We had Maslin, We had Noah, we had FC Violent on there, we had a normal panel, me, Griggity, Neethles, Snow Bunny. Excellent show. You can't beat that. It was a fantastic show. But that's the thing, man. Like, I think they made the wrong choice. And I'm wondering what you think about this, if you can respond. And chat, let me know. Here we go again. Free messaging app. Like my homie Mass, even though I got a restraining on him, he got lawsuits. He still can leave something in my free messaging app. All are welcome. Here's my question to the panel, and I want to know what y'all thoughts are on this. I think Phil Spencer was not the best guy to juggle the expectations of Sachi and Nadella that you weren't going to be able to escape. I don't think Phil was the best guy, but I think somebody else was there that could have done better. Let me know what y'all think about this. I think we would have all been better served. And again, we all would have been better served if instead of Phil, they would have gave that job to Mike Ybarra. I think they would have done better if they gave that job to Mike Ybarra. Big up to the homie Neethles. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Homie Neethles says, Phil ain't going nowhere. Post Up will always be there to service him. Like them soft gamers. Also, we running that dead space. Yes, sir. We are running that dead space. My wife ain't coming home. Hallelujah. No, I didn't say that, y'all. I didn't say that. But anywho, just let me know in the free messaging chat. What do y'all think? If you have, and again, with the messaging chat, I know it only allows you to leave a comment every so often, but if you haven't commented already, let me know. What do you think about Phil Spencer being maybe a better choice would have been Mike Ybarra? I'm going to say the real Master says, and he can't comment in the chat again, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He says, more so Albert Pernella. Now, I like Albert Pernella, but Albert Pinella's a little wishy-washy too. He's a very smart guy, don't get me wrong. And he is hardcore to a degree. But there's something about Albert Pernella to where, I don't know. I just don't, he doesn't exuberate leadership to me. He just doesn't. And the real Master is one of the most hardcore leaders. You talk to this guy, the way he treats his staff that you could get. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you appreciate what I'm just saying there, Mas, but I just something about Albert Pernella. At a support role, he would have been good. Phil at a support role within Microsoft is good. Phil's implementation of Satya's vision as far as the technical aspects of what they were trying to do is cool. It's just as far as the rollout is concerned that Phil is all over the place, and you know what I'm saying, and it's not good. But again, with all of the stuff that they would have had to do with cloud gaming, and don't fool yourself, Xbox gamers that are disgruntled like your boy MM2K. There was no way getting around the expectations of Satya Nadella, and my homie Mass will let you know in the chat too. There was no getting around it. They had to do something at this level and make it work, or Xbox or gaming was gone. The problem is the content. I don't want to buy more. I don't want to buy more game. You know, the lack of focus on the hardcore content is really the problem. And I think, and if you think about it, we have Mike Ybarra to thank, for giving us the best hardcore setting as far as anything exclusive since Phil's tenure. And that's PUBG. right? Think about it. If it wasn't for Mike Ybarra and him working hard, him playing PUBG on PC, him wanting to bring that experience to Xbox, we wouldn't have had that. Now, even though it didn't come to fruition the way that we were expecting or wanting it to, it was just him dropping that dime that at least got us that. We wouldn't even had that. You understand what I'm saying? So because of that, and Mike Ybarra, he has that toughness. He's not as sarcastic as Donnie D. I think he knows how to put up guardrails, but Mike Ybarra ain't with the bullshit either. He'll snap back at you. And I've had conversations with various sources that have confirmed that. Big ups to Guest J. Guest J said, we asked Xboxes for great games. They said we already have a console for that. Hey, you wrong for that one, man. Hey, Guest J, you wrong as hell for that one, man. Oh, man, the comment of the day. The comment of the day. Oh, man. In addition to that, y'all. Oh, man. I hold on. Hey, yo. They sure did, bro. They sure did. Oh, golly. Hold on. I want to thank y'all for the oh man, sure did, man. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for adding to the chat. Let me know what y'all think. In addition to that, I appreciate y'all's support. If y'all want to further support what your boy MM2K is doing, I appreciate it to the nth degree. You know what I mean? Just hit your boy up there on pntsnetwork.com. You can check out our support page there as well. Yeah, your boy got a kick out of that. With that said, Mike Ybarra also is a hardcore gamer. Now, again, hardcore isn't always synonymous with the best game. You know what I'm saying? It's synonymous. Hardcore AAA is synonymous with a gritty style of gaming, right? And your intent at a quality output, at a quality product, right? So regardless of what y'all feel about Destiny, he's a big Destiny gamer. If Destiny was exclusive to Xbox, right? Like if we would have kept Bungie and kept Destiny on board, man, like, yo, we might be talking about a different, close to a different type of, scenario here where I'm not saying they would have won, but it could have been hella closer. Destiny was a big thing, and it only got muffled in the relationship with Activision. Now, even though Xbox at points in time didn't do Bungie right, I think that if they would have said, you know what, Bungie, y'all did Halo and y'all did a wonderful job with Halo. All right, as our premier studio, we're going to, let y'all do y'all thing with this Destiny thing. I think the power narrative, you would have had so many Xbox One sold at the beginning of this generation. It would have been ridiculous. Like, it would have been ridiculous. And that would have increased the saturation, and I could have changed the approach a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But Mike Ybarra's a Destiny gamer, and he plays a lot of hardcore games too. I mean, he likes some of them quirky games on PC. But if you look at what he plays, opposed to what Phil Spencer's playing, Voodoo Vince, Phantom Dust with the original assets, there's light years in difference, right? Now y'all may be equating to some of the like silly things that Mike Ybarra's done as far as promoting God of War for mixed with, but he had to do that for his job, okay? He had to do that for his job. Mike is the hardcore gaming exec that has his finger on the pulse of what we want. And like I said again, it would have Mike been perfect? No, I don't think. I'm not saying he would have been perfect, but he would have been a lot better serving to us than Phil. Again, we got to thank Mike for at least getting somewhat of exclusivity with PUBG. That was big. That game grew fast. That was big. That was like on the real for real. As far as titles are concerned, that was the biggest mainstream success that Microsoft seen outside of Game Pass. On its own. Standalone. On its own. That was the biggest success. That game grew by millions not being in Game Pass. So, I think it's just a matter of us understanding the mindset of these people that we're dealing with and their intentions and not trying to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. I just want y'all to understand that we are at the 12th hour. There's very little that we can do. Chips and shit are being made and dev kits have gone out. There's little we can do. We can have an influence on the culture overall. Well, there's little that we could do. There's little influence right now that we can have in Microsoft because they're going full steam ahead. It's the 12th hour. We are not going to have an influence again until the product drops in their hand. Once the product drops in people's hands, and if people reject it, then they'll listen again, but it might be too late. Xbox will probably be gone because Satya has he's very sensitive to failure. I'll put it like that, right? And that'll be the end of Xbox as we know it. So, and again, I don't think that you beg for success so they can just stay around in name only. I mean, I think it's bigger that we can join our voices as gamers and we speak up against anybody that wants to do any sector wrong. Because we understand it's the collective of sectors that makes gaming so strong and makes gaming so important. The diversity within it. That's what we want. We don't want to continue to stick to these fanboy notions. We don't want to. See another message in the app. Oh, let me get to it. Oh, that's weird. Completed. Okay. I thought I saw it was another message. I'm sorry. But yeah. So, because of that, I am not going to shut up. I am not going to be that patron at Arby's that I spoke of earlier that simply just shuts up because you want me to, because you want to enjoy the food that you got. Because number one, I put my money on the wood to get what I want. And I'm not walking out of here unless I get my money back or I get the experience that I asked for. And if I'm not getting neither, there's going to be holy hell to pay. Now, again, I know that's an oxymoron, holy hell, but, there's going to be hell to pay. In conjunction with that, I understand why you would hop up in that scenario and say, I'm just trying to enjoy my chicken sandwich. Your emotional tie to where you're at and what you're doing at the moment has your judgment clouded. It does. I was there. I was there. A lot of the stuff that I've seen, when Next Gen was telling me this is the way it's going, and and I denied it, and even put out hope right before E3 because I said, damn, this motherfucker cannot have that audacity. Now we've already exposed Phil as not being not knowledgeable of what the hardcore gamer wants. We've already exposed that. He's fully aware of what we're expecting. For him to come out here and now, after all that's been exposed, and still play stupid by saying we're going so big and put it in the light that he did, after the rumors were out there, it's either going to be the biggest middle finger ever, or man, we got something to watch. Now it may not have the impact that we want it to, but we got something to wait out for. And it wasn't the latter, it was the former. It was the biggest middle finger. So my emotional time, my judgment was cloudy, and for someone to stand up in that scenario that I gave earlier and tell me to just shut up and just deal with it and walk out, even though I lost my money and not complain so they can enjoy their experience, they're emotionally wrapped into and they're not thinking clearly. But that's not going to fly. That's unacceptable. So I'm letting you guys know right now that you definitely want to follow your boy. Follow your boy here and follow me on Twitter. On Twitch. Well, follow me everywhere. But definitely as far as my streaming platforms, follow me on Twitch primarily. Because on Twitch is where I'm going to have the biggest project to date. And it's going to make some headways. I'll put it to you like that. It's going to make some headways, and it's going to turn some heads, and it's going to cause a lot of discussion. We got something coming to Twitch, exclusive to Twitch, that you definitely don't want to miss there. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, again, we got a message. We got something that we want to say. We want to get it out there to the people, and we're not going to let any platform stop us. So we have to equally invest in each platform. YouTube, I'll still do things like the Prognosis in my daily videos. Twitch, I'll have streams and stuff. I'll have game streams, and I'll have, this project that I'm working on that will be a frequent thing going on Twitch. And lastly, Mixer, I'm not going to forget about Mixer. I'll do some Xbox streams there while I still am invested in the Xbox ecosystem. With that being said, you're going to want to follow me on Twitch at MightyMost2000 on Twitch. Sign up there. You know what I'm saying? You can support the channel, but you're definitely not going to want to miss this new content that is coming there. More news on that coming next week. So with that said, I want to thank everybody that came through. I'm going to go through the chat. And if anybody, again, would y'all think, the question is, before we wrap this up, do you think that Xbox would have been better served at the change of the guard if it would have been Mike Ybarra at the helm instead of Phil Spencer? Let me know what you think. With that being said, I'll roll through the chat real quick. Big ups to all. 4-1 Review. Black Ice 12. Cali Rex. What's up, Cali? Jimmy Quid. Graphic Guard. Big ups to Graphic Guard. Vaughn ASVN. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Ali Tussin. Neethles. Johnny the Truth Teller. Good seeing you again. 706 Gamer. The Real Maslin. And let me see. Make sure I am not missing anybody. Paul G. Yori Hama, thank you for coming through again, Yori. I appreciate you. And Skip Bayless. Let me see. One white Kong. Would you come with your dumb shit? One white Kong. Talking crazy. Drop something in the free chat, bro. Help a brother out. And CD Mac 5. Good seeing you again, CD Mac. Brigadier William Wilderbeest. Good seeing you again. I appreciate y'all. Everybody came through today, man. Woo. Thank you. Ali Tussin. and they're spitting that knowledge. Ali, just hit up the free messenger chat, man, so we can share your words with everybody. You know, I'll be in my zone, man. Mr. Righteous Fish. Crazy. Timmy. 619. Thank you for coming through. D Almighty Spartan God, my homie. And I think, and that's it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I appreciate all of y'all. You know, Xavier Bay, what's up? I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Me and Nethos are planning to do some streaming later. And don't miss out on Next Gen 720 stream. It's going to happen around 3 o'clock, I believe. And after that, the Real Maslin, I'm putting you on Front Street, Mass, if you're still listening. The Real Maslin is going to do Mr. Parker is a Dumbass. He's bringing that back today. So stay tuned for that. So one of my favorite, one of the funniest shows out there. So with that being said, thank you everybody for joining today. This was a very successful show. Let's bring it over to Twitch, baby. Support the channel. Be there for my biggest stream yet. I got a stream that I did yesterday that y'all probably don't even know about. Go over to Twitch at Mighty Most 2000. Check it out. And with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.